Other articles try to figure out why the international community can't get on the same page, but I'm going to look at an article that caught my eye in Gulf News that says that the world is clueless about Syria, and it's a pretty good summary of what's going on there. First of all, it says that speculation is rife as to how or when the current situation will end, because on the one hand, you have the pro-regime side, which is in denial, and on the other side, you have the opposition, which, according to this article, is overly confident. And meanwhile, you have the international community, whether it's Russia or China, that are just playing lip service to the international community. It says that they actually don't really even want to see an end to the stalemate there, and it includes the U.S. in the international community there. And to quote this article, it says, "Let's put it bluntly, nobody has the slightest clue on what to do in Syria, and paying the price for all this madness are the tough and immutable people of Syria."
A much lighter issue, the Olympics, 10 days to go, but quite a serious side to it as well. It's the question of security.
This is the angle that's getting a lot of attention in the press today, starting with The Guardian. 10 days to go to the Games. What could go wrong, says The Guardian on their front page. And The Independent says, Olympic security, now the army is giving orders. Now, this comes after the G4S security firm that was in charge of security announced a shortfall of personnel just a couple of days before the Games, which meant that the army had to step in. And according to an article in Gulf News, this is alarming because it shows that there's been a huge failure in terms of oversight and management, on the one hand for the G4S security firm, but as well as for the British government, which, according to this article, was caught napping. Now, it says that the British Home Office needs to answer some uncomfortable questions, and it says that instead of arming London to the teeth by putting machine guns on people's roofs, etc., what the authorities should have done is put more officers on the ground. And according to Gulf News, this is the same reason that the London riots got out of hand. And it also raises another interesting point, which is that it's ironic that the government gave out this lucrative contract to a private firm while it's trimming down its own military budget.
The athletes around the world still making their way there, though, aren't they? And authorities kind of holding their breath a bit.
Yes, starting at Heathrow Airport. It was the biggest peacetime transport challenge for Heathrow authorities yesterday. It was one of several red days, and it did sound like it was pretty crazy there. There were an extra 3,000 passengers yesterday than at the peak of the summertime. And on top of all the athletes, there was the media. Now, airport staff say that things went quite smoothly, except for the fact that the Australian swimming team's sails went missing for a short while. They didn't find them in the end. Now, The Guardian also points out another slight mishap, which is the weather. The weather is so cold and rainy that some athletes are saying they're going to go train elsewhere, including the Chinese hurdle jumper Liu Xiang. He won the gold medal in 2004, and he's decided to go train in Germany.
And the USA, I gather they got stuck in traffic or lost in traffic.
Yes, they took an extended tour of the capital, let's
Okay.
say. The bus that was carrying them...
Round the M25, was it?
Exactly. The bus that was carrying them from Heathrow to the Olympic Village, it took 4 hours. And according to an article in Independent, that's twice as long as the world record for the marathon, which is a similar distance. Now, one of the athletes that was on the bus tweeted, "Athletes are sleepy, hungry, and need to pee. This is not a good first impression, London." So according to this article in the Independent, the host city began shakily the most punishing 2012 event of all, which is the image hurdles.
Getting there in the first place, yeah. Finally, an unusual book fair in a nation that does not officially exist.
That's right. It's taking place in Somaliland. So this is a nation that declared its independence in 1991, but has not been yet officially recognized. And this literary festival is taking place in Hargeisa, which is a town of 500,000 people, where there's not even a theater or a cinema, but it's becoming a hot spot that's attracting both readers and authors from across the world. Now, this is not a book fair like others, because even though it is quite a safe city for the Horn of Africa, there's still very heavy military presence. But this festival celebrates not only books, but also cinema, theater, music, and it's on its 5th year. And one of the most motivation of the organizers is to ensure that Somaliland's oral tradition endures, and also to keep kids off drugs and away from the call of religious terrorist groups that are operating in Somalia.
Maybe celebrating newspapers as well. Florence, thank you very much. Florence Vilmanot with the international papers here on France 24. Headlines then, more weapons needed, more men.